All righty, guys. Welcome to the weekly Q&A. I'm Dr. Davis. For those of you I have not met yet, tonight we are going to be talking about triggers. What is it that triggers you? So just give me a sec here. I am going to get some stuff up on the screen, ready to go. Give you guys a little bit of education. After we do that, I am going to open it up for a Q&A. That way, if anybody has any questions, we can go through it and answer any questions that you guys might have, get you guys feeling better here. All right. So tonight we are talking about breaking the chains of IBS. What is it? What are these? Oh, button's not working. What is it that is really triggering your irritable bowel? Is it a food? Is it stress? Is it lifestyle things that need to change? So we're going to be talking about that over the next five or 10 minutes here. Just going to go through this real quick and give you guys ample amount of time afterwards to ask your questions, okay? So what I want you to know is that this is an honest struggle, and there is not a single one size fits all for this stuff, right? There are a ton of different triggers. I just named a couple of them. But maybe your trigger is an antibiotic that you had as a kid. Maybe it is the stress that your parents were under while you were still in utero. Maybe it is a stressful home that you grew up in. Maybe it's the death of a loved one within the last couple of years, or a divorce, or maybe it is that you had a gut infection and that has triggered a whole cascade of events from irritable bowel to candida overgrowth to different type of microbial infections. And so we're going to talk about a little bit of what those are. But what devastates one person, what's the important thing is that is not necessarily what is going to affect another person, right? We are all completely individuals. Everything that we are experiencing, everything that's happening to us is unique, just as unique as our irises, as our fingerprints. And so what I want you to know that is not a one size fits all type of answer, right? And understanding your unique triggers is really the key to breaking the cycle of flare-ups, reclaiming control over your life. So that's going to be the really important part here. Okay, so we need to talk about a couple of different misconceptions. What are some of the things, some of the myths and the truths or the realities that go along with these things to help you understand what triggers really are? Okay, so all irritable bowel triggers are uniform and can be tamed with a simple cookie cutter approach. That's the myth, right? There is not a single thing um, that is causing everybody's irritable bowel. If there were, then medicine would have had a answer for it already, right? There would have been a pill that fixes everybody if it was one single thing causing it. The reality is that every individual is unique, right? And your triggers, your symptoms, and the solutions to those are deeply personal and require customized strategies. It has to be something that is specific for you and the struggle that is causing your irritable bowel flare-ups. What's another myth? Irritable bowel flare-ups happen randomly, and there's no way to predict or control them. Couldn't be further from the truth. There are for sure things that cause irritable bowel. And it might be you think that, well, I had chicken yesterday and it didn't cause any problems, so I'm think that's a safe food. I'm going to have chicken again today, and all of a sudden it causes a flare-up. It's not random. There's something in the background that has been hijacked, whether it's a parasite, whether it's candida, whether it's SIBO that's causing your irritable bowel, or maybe even it's an H. pylori infection or some other microbe. There's something that is triggering this. This isn't a random thing, right? And so the reality is that flare-ups are rarely random. They often are tied to patterns like foods, stress, sleep, hormones, or gut imbalances. And when you track your body's signals, those random episodes start to reveal clear triggers that you can identify and you can manage. Okay. So, what are the most powerful weapons that you have in your arsenal? Number one is a food journal, right? If you track everything you eat when your symptoms start to appear, um, it's going to start to reveal different patterns that are going on, right? Okay. And the second thing is that you have to start to recognize patterns. You want to see the connection as they emerge between specific foods and flare-ups. And this will empower you to identify your personal enemies. Okay. And so what are the personal enemies on your plate, right? This is some food for thought. Things that you thought were safe might actually be crippling your well-being. Just think about that. Remember when I just talked about chicken a couple minutes ago? It was perfectly safe that you had it yesterday. Why would grilled chicken be an unsafe food, right? There are people who do have sensitivities, but why should grilled chicken be a sensitive food? But yesterday it was good and today it's not. Why is that the case? Okay. So high fiber vegetables, fruits, whole grains, they can trigger symptoms despite them being a healthy food, right? You think that you're eating healthy, you're eating organic fruit, organic vegetables, um, and you think that these things are healthy for you, but they're still causing problems and you can't figure out why. And your food list just keeps shrinking and getting more and more narrow, right? Or maybe it's dairy products. Quite often, this is one of the big triggers I see all the time. And some people just want to ignore it because they love the taste of cheese, right? But it's causing more damage than it is even experiencing or that you're even experiencing, right? You might have a little gas, but why are you having that gas and what kind of other damage is that doing to your system down the stream? So even small amounts of lactose can cause severe reactions in sensitive individuals, right? And then there's gluten, right? You have it from bread, pasta, cereals, and it can worsen a lot of different irritable bowel issues, right? Even if symptoms aren't present, gluten is the number one cause of intestinal permeability, or leaky gut is the other name for that, right? So it's the number one cause in this country for intestinal permeability. Now, what does that mean? That means that there's a lot of holes in your gut, and those holes lead to inflammation. It leads to different microbes and bacteria and stuff getting out of the gut, causes food particles to get out of the gut. All these things, once they get out of your gut, they're foreign invaders. And those foreign invaders are what is damaging your body, right? It's causing inflammation. It's causing an autoimmune response. And that is going to cause things like Hashimoto's. It causes different types of skin disorders. It's going to cause other autoimmune issues, things like impetigo with your skin, alopecia with your hair. A lot of different things can happen from autoimmune disorders. Okay. And then the big bad C word, caffeine, right? How many of you guys start your day with coffee, right? For some people, caffeine is a trigger. It can actually stimulate gut motility and trigger urgency or emptying type symptoms. And this is something that can be really bad for some people, and other people, maybe not quite the trigger, right? So, what do we do? Okay. How do we identify what these triggers look like? How do we get around them? How do we eat a healthy lifestyle that's going to benefit our bodies? Number one is we need to establish a baseline. Okay, we need to do an elimination diet. That elimination diet is we're going to be removing things like gluten, like dairy, alcohol, caffeine. Um, we're going to be minimizing a lot of things like corn and soy to really get down to foods that we know are not going to be inflammatory in our bodies. Okay. And then after we've done that for several weeks, IgG reactions stay in your system for up to 20 days or 28 days. And for some people, it's even more depending on your exposure. And so after that 28 days, then we can start to reintroduce things slowly. And so after we establish that baseline, um, you eliminate the suspected triggers for have 2 to 4 weeks, but really it's 28 days, that full 4 weeks, until symptoms stabilize and you can feel consistently better, right? And then after that time period, and for some people, this is a 3 to 6 month process, sometimes even a little bit longer, depending on the food and your level of sensitivity to it, the amount of antibodies that you've developed. And so we start to reintroduce food one at a time. That's the important thing. If you don't do it one at a time, you don't know what it is that you are really um, reacting to, right? If you have 2 or 3 foods at any given time that you tried to eliminate and then you reintroduce them, which one caused the reaction? So we do one at a time. We do it for a period of 3 days in small amounts, and then we wait for a few days. after those 3 days. We want to make sure that you don't have a reaction because those IgG reactions, they can happen up to 96 hours later. Imagine that. Something you ate on Monday is affecting you Thursday. And that's why you can't figure out what the problem is. Okay. And then document everything. I want you to keep track of this using a food journal. Document everything, your symptoms, the timing, the severity, and that way we can really identify true triggers versus things that are just a coincidence. And then number four is gradually expand everything, right? Slowly build your safe food list. We want to test for tolerance levels or how tolerant you are. Okay, that's going to be the important part is slowly introducing new foods so we can see how things are and we gradually expand that list. Okay, so what is your arsenal for fighting back? Systematic tracking. Remember, making sure that you are keeping track of that food record, right? Documenting what you eat, how it affects you. Okay. I want you to document your sleep patterns, your stress patterns. Um, was it a really stressful day at work and now all of a sudden you're having a lot of symptoms throughout the day? Okay. Are you having a hard time sleeping? Do you wake up at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning every single night? That could be something like parasites, or that can be something like adrenal stress, fatigue, or adrenal dysfunction that causes you to wake up because cortisol starts to rise at 2 or 4 o'clock in the morning, somewhere in that range. And that might be why you can't go back to sleep, or parasites. They're active at that time as well. And so they might be keeping you awake. Okay. So systematic tracking of all the different systems or all the different symptoms that you're actually experiencing. And then practicing mindfulness. We want to make sure that you keep your stress under control. And so by doing that, we want you to do meditation. We want you to put yourself in a Zen state. Go for a nature walk. Practice prayer. Things that are going to keep you level-headed and in touch with reality rather than the stresses of life. Okay. And then also work with a provider, somebody like myself in functional medicine, who's going to be able to identify the root cause, who understands the complexity of irritable bowel. Okay. That's going to be super important because then they can develop something that's really personable to you to help you feel better, to identify your triggers, identify the root cause, and move forward. Okay. And this is going to help you take back control. Remember, you have the power to identify your triggers. And then understanding your unique IBS patterns can help you break free from a cycle of suffering. Because I know it's hard for you. You're missing out on family events. You're missing out on doing things with your friends. You're struggling keeping in the office at work. We want you to break free from that cycle of suffering. And so start your food journal today. Begin the journey towards freedom. Okay. So the big thing that you need to do, practice that mindfulness, keep a journal of your stress, your sleep, what you're eating, when you're eating it, and all the symptoms that go along with everything. Okay. And then talk to a functional medicine provider like myself. Reach out, get the help that you need so that you can start living your life freely and in abundance. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to open things up here and allow you guys to start asking questions. All right.